And now, the Big D and Bubba Weekly Podcast.
Big D and Bubba, they have a show 5 days a week, but they don't get to say everything that's on their mind, so they have an extra one, and that's how we get the podcast.
What is Bubba doing?
The podcast. Big D and Bubba's podcast, the podcast, the podcast. Big D and Bubba's podcast.
By the way, before I walked in here to do the podcast, I was out grabbing my last second coffee, and I was looking in through the window from the green room, and the O'Reilly Auto Parts studio, by the way, O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day, looks so cool.
Yeah.
Like, I never am out of the studio whenever the lights are all on and all that kind of stuff. I wish I could be a guest every once in a while and watch, because it's cool. Like, I look in it looks like all official, like we're doing stuff.
Wow.
Like we're doing stuff.
Well, you know what I mean?
Look
It's
at
like,
us.
it looked good.
so
I'm like,
fancy.
dang, bro, look at that. Anyway, the podcast this week sponsored by Pickle Jar. Pickle Jar is a great thing. If you're an artist or maybe you're a content creator, you're on Twitch, you're on whatever platform you may be, Pickle Jar is going to help make you more money. You get to keep 100% of every fan tip, every song request, crowdfunding donation that supports whatever creative thing you're doing. Whether if you're a band or an artist, I would have a little sign with a thing saying "Tip us through Pickle Jar." Plus, you can donate tips. You can do all kinds of crazy cool stuff. And if you sign up right now, you can claim your sign-up bonus for up to $350 when you create your account. So definitely check it out. iOS, it's on Droid, or at picklejar.com.
I saw something cool that they were doing where the person who makes the most tips in a week or something like that, and they were giving bonuses. And in one of them, I actually knew it's Sasha McVeigh from England.
Oh, it was her
their
birthday
most-
week.
Yeah, and she got the most tips, and I'm like, yeah, it's because of her birthday, and she probably did really good. She also plays like 6-7 shows a week.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, I went to a bar one night and she was playing.
Oh, yeah, she just
She's so
randomly.
awesome.
is
She's so funny,
cool.
too. And she's like, whenever she sings and then whenever she talks, it's like two different people.
Two totally different
Because
people.
she's goofy. If
that
you've never
British
checked her out,
accent.
you can follow her, Sasha McVeigh. Just look her up on social media. She's cool. Hi, everybody.
I was just looking at. We were at downtown Nashville for the Morgan Wallen kind of a pre-show deal, and for the Wednesday night show. And I hadn't been down on Broadway in a long time. I was blown away by how crazy it is. Now it's spring break, and Morgan.
Yeah, but it
Wallen
was like 4:00 in the afternoon.
on a Wednesday.
On a
On a
Wednesday.
It was insane. It was panic-inducing. So many people, and the noises and the smells.
It's way easier to take
about-
all that in when you're drunk. Because when you're inebriated, you don't notice any of that stuff. You're just because you're part of it. You're instead of swimming against the current, you are the current. You're with it.
All right, it's about
Very
to
zen.
get crazier. It's about to get 10 times crazier.
Why?
Y'all want the rumor?
Yeah.
He bought it. He bought the building where the axe throwing thing is, where it used to be Paradise Park.
Oh,
the
no.
Nashville.
I'm hurt. I'm not. This is unofficial, so nobody quote me on this.
How do you know he bought it?
I've heard rumors that he or someone in association with him has bought the building, and that it's not going to be the Opry House. It's not going to be the Ryman. It's not going to be anything like that. If Garth does a residency, it's going to be at a bar that Garth owns on Lower Broadway, and he himself will perform in that bar multiple nights a week.
What?
Well,
I haven't heard this rumor ever.
And that will change the face of Nashville. That'll change the face of really bars and concert venues in the country.
That will
change a lot
it'll
of
change
stuff.
the face of the show because
So
I
if-
will be quitting
Yeah,
to go
Carson
get a
will just
job
go
at the bar
yeah.
so I can just watch him for free every night.
That's actually, you could literally just get a job being like the ticket taker or something, or the usher.
and have him every night as your
Every night.
entertainment.
Which building is that? Is that the Downtown Sporting Club building?
That's
Yeah.
where it is. That's, yeah,
So
it'd
it
be
just
like-
sold. It sold for. That's the one I'm looking at.
Yeah,
It's
some-
sold for $48 million.
to an investment group that people think is
tied to him.
Tied to him. Yeah.
Wow.
I hope I don't get in trouble for that. I mean,
Broadway
this is all
property.
rumor. I don't really
Yeah,
know.
but
Like, I'm speculating with
Oh,
you know.
now I'm doing
What
it.
was the property company?
Broadway Property LLC.
Oh,
So
see, I thought they were going to do something clever with a 7 in it. And they would be like, it's
And
absolutely Garth.
you know if it's Garth, it's got if they do it well, it's gonna be like the Low Place or Low Places.
Oh,
Wouldn't that
yeah.
be the
I'm
name of the
seeing
bar?
all
Like
the
something like that?
rumors.
Just
Oh.
low places would be great.
Low Places is so great. Come by, be one of our friends. Oh, so great.
Or just call it the Red Strokes.
Okay, that didn't make. that
No,
didn't
actually, I
make
kind of
sense,
like that.
but-
Yeah.
But
It's got a cool little thing, and you could totally, it's an old classic Garth throwback. It's cool.
I don't know if Luke and Jason play at their bar. I know Alan has played at his bar. I know
Kid Rock
John
plays
Rich plays
his.
at his Kid Rock occasionally, and it doesn't it doesn't have to be a scheduled thing to do it well. Dirks and Blake, I know, have done shows at their bars, but just the fact that on any given night you're downtown and one of these guys could show up has made it crazy. That's what it is. People want to be there because I don't know, like somebody. And Tootsie's used to be that way with everybody. Like you
Yeah.
could be at Tootsie's and Toby Keith could get on stage because I was there one night and he did.
Well, Dustin Lynch did that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So
He just popped up and did, I think it was Tootsie's.
But this would be different. This would be a ticketed thing, theoretically. And
That you're guaranteed to see a humongous name.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it'll be different from the stadium show. Of course, you still want to go see Garth in the arena in the stadium with the band and the thing and the whole crowd and the three. But
I like that little
what would you
pterodactyl
pay?
noise.
What would you pay for 45 minutes of Garth Brooks and his
A
guitar?
lot.
A
A lot.
A
I will
lot.
pay a lot. I will be there every night.
All right, Carson, I looked into it. So people have been like really, I'm just reading their research.
Yeah, you're digging.
So it's 411 LLC owns the property. And I'm just going to read this. This is from WilliamsonHomepage.com. 411 LLC now owns the property with that address of that entity affiliated with Russell A. Jones, according to state records. Jones is Garth's attorney. Also,
There you go.
There's a
also
tie-in.
the transaction document references Cheryl Harris of O'Neill Hagman PLLC, and that is
That's his
Garth's
lawyer.
business
Yeah, it
manager.
is, yeah.
So you already get two connections directly into the business part of Garth.
I thought it was huge when I thought Garth was going to play the Opry House on off nights where there was no Opry. I
This would
thought it
be
was
much
huge,
more Garthy to keep
It would be.
to keep the money in
but it's
house.
smaller. But even on nights
Yeah,
when
but-
he's not there, don't you want to go to the Garth Brooks bar?
Yeah.
If you're a country
Yes.
music fan,
That's why people go
Yes.
to the
Come
Luke
Nashville.
bar, the
That's why
Jason
people
bar,
go to
the
Jason
Dirks
Aldean
bar. I mean, yeah.
and the yes.
That's why they all have bars with their names on them now. I mean, you've
Now,
got a
I-
Mexican restaurant with Miranda's name on it.
I wasn't here, but I was told that back in the day, back in the 70s, before the Ryman moved, that a lot of guys had bars. But it's still, I don't think they ever had this many because it wasn't all bars. When we moved to Nashville, I don't know, 18 and a half years
It was
ago.
mixed
Yeah,
use.
It was, well, there was a one block of bars between 5th and 4th, okay, where next to the Ryman. That's where the old honky tonks were because
And then
it's
there
right
was
next
that,
to the Ryman.
that little
And
stretch
then-
on Second Avenue was a little bit,
Right,
bit of
but that
bars.
was-
And that was the
remember, that
coolest
was-
thing because Pat Sajak, that's right, Wheel of Fortune, Pat Sajak owned a bar. It was an Irish pub, and that's where I used to go see Def Leprechaun. Greatest band name ever for an Irish band.
So upset that I've never
Yes.
seen them.
Oh, they were amazing.
Yeah.
And they would do all the little whiskey in the jar and hey, and it was good times.
Yeah, and I try to explain to people that, and when I say back in the day, I don't think it was that long ago, but
10 years ago.
Yeah, when I was sitting out a radio contract because boy, what a terrible business we're in. And so I was an assistant to booking as well as the line dance instructor at the Wild Horse. And downtown was not nice back then. That
No.
we'd come in the morning and there were bullets in our door. And I had to have people walk me to the car because I was one of the last folks to leave at night because I would have to shut down, play closing time and get everybody kicked out of the bar. And downtown was not savory.
Right.
And this whole transformation, and now you're going to really up a game with the G-Man?
I'm
Wow.
going to throw another thing in this. So I'm looking at this property on Broadway. I'm looking at Street View. So it's now called the Downtown Sporting Club.
Right,
And right next to it to the left, it's Nudi's Honky Tonk.
right.
But right next to it on the other side there's an alley. But
He's got a daughter named
Al-
Allie. No, he does.
Okay.
It's Allie Colleen. We're aware.
So
I'm
there's
just
Calm
saying.
down, Bubba. Calm down.
It's Allie's
Continue,
alley.
D.
and then
It
and then
happens.
the building next to it across the alley is so if you wanted, it's Ernest Tubbs Record Shop, which is going out of business.
Yep. Which
Oh,
is being
somebody's
sold.
because they're selling the building.
So,
But you can't
connect the two.
I don't think so. And they've changed
You
the
could do a
downtown
sky bridge.
built. No, they have made it really, really hard to change anything in Lower
Like the
Broadway. and
architecture?
Nashville. Yeah, because
Yeah,
after
there's
that
something
last
cool
building
about the
got-
old downtown
Well,
look.
after that last building at the corner of 3rd and Broadway got torn down, or when was that? That was like several years ago. But they did it like 3 a.m, and people were furious. So they've made it even harder. So that alley is probably going to still be an alley, or maybe not. Maybe he bought
Alley's
it.
alley.
Maybe they combine it.
Combine,
If
make it
you're
one building.
Garth, don't you find a way to keep that record store open?
That's what I was thinking. That
Somebody with money is going to buy that building and
Yep,
keep that record store
because
open
of-
for posterity. If not, they need to. I'm going to put this out into the universe. They need to take everything out of it and the thing and put it in the Country Music Hall of Fame. And they have 2 gift shops now, and one of the gift shops can be Ernest Tubbs Record Store.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, that's
So-
Great
brilliant.
idea.
That is brilliant.
They did it with Hatch Showprint. Remember, Hatch Showprint used to be, we're talking about
Yeah.
what I was going to say before Bubba interrupted me with Pat Sajak earlier. Was you had one block of bars next to the Ryman and for years. And then by the time we got here in the early 2000s, there was another block of bars across the street. So there was just it. It's just 2 sides of between 4th and 5th. Now it goes all the way down 5 blocks to the river. Everything's a bar or a
Yeah, it
restaurant.
has become Bourbon Street.
Yeah. I mean, there used to be
The
2
tattoo
architecture
parlor.
firms, a tattoo parlor, several boot stores. There might still
Yeah.
be one boot store. There was, and there was Hatch Showprint, which had
Yep.
been there for 100+ years.
And those are the people that do the old school
Those old
concert
posters.
posters and all that.
Yeah.
even there was a FedEx.
There was a FedEx
That was
until
right there on
recently. That's where
Broadway, right.
Margaritaville is, I think, is where the FedEx was.
That when you think about that,
There
because
was a bank.
I remember moving and going. I knew to park at FedEx
Yeah.
because it was so easy to get
And
to
you
the
know,
arena from there.
Jimmy Buffett's played Margaritaville several times.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
But-
So again, that's part of the allure.
It's part of the thing. But now there are no businesses that are not like serving the public.
Hospitality.
Gift shops, gift shops, restaurants, bars, stores. There's no more. This is our office, not on Lower Broad, not on that stretch. I had a friend who worked at the architecture firm where National Underground is. That used to be just on the base. And then now it's the whole building. It's all 5 stories. And it's just crazy to think that
I don't even know what you're talking
National Underground is a bar next to Acme.
about. Oh, okay.
So
On that end.
on
yeah.
that
So
side,
I remember
way
when the
down-
Acme building
never-
was deserted for years.
Oh, and and that's the one Alan
Decades.
Jackson ended up being. Yeah.
yeah.
But it's funny because I never make it to that end because usually we start at the top.
Yeah.
And I'm usually
It's hard to do
hammered
it all.
mid block.
It's true.
And then I'm like, oh, we just got to Uber home. And that's it.
I
We
usually
get-
start at Layla's and end up at Roberts, and I'm done. That's it. That's all the downtown I can do. You know,
I always go back to
Tootsie's
the
is always
Wild
too
Horse
crowded
because
for me.
people I worked with are still bartenders there.
Really?
So yeah,
Still?
Bernie and Matt. And I walk in and they're real good about taking care of me and maybe putting my drinks on other people's tabs.
Every single time that I have family in or whatever, they all want to eat. Let's go get Tex-Mex at Miranda's place,
Yeah.
and then we'll go and do that. And then it's from that point, after several margaritas, it's stumble on to the next rooftop bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good time.
I loved the rooftop at George Jones, but that's gone now too.
Is it?
Yeah, they're shutting that one.
Oh.
So, and
Yeah, a lot of
everything's
people
just
don't
crazy.
make the turn and go down Second anymore.
Well, this is really
not what it
good
used to
for
be.
Nashville tourism, by the way. If you've never been, it is crazy awesome, crazy, and really fun.
This podcast not brought to you by the Nashville Convention and Visitors Bureau.
So what are they going to do where the bombing was? That's all being redone.
Yeah, because they blew up the Hooters, they blew up the old spaghetti factory. They
I mean, the
blew
Wild
up-
Horse was closed for over a year, almost a year.
People
So I think
forget
it's
about that
just-
bombing because it happened at Christmas.
Right.
So that was on the backside of Second, on the
You say
riverside.
backside. No.
No.
It was on the front.
Right
It was
there
on the
in front.
front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those Second Avenue businesses are.
So well, I did see some of the plan. I asked, and I kind of already knew the answer. I saw the plans of how they're going to redo it because they've already start building it back up. and it looks really cool.
Does it look like the old buildings? Are they structurally, reinforcing them? And
I don't know about that, but I mean, I think it's not gonna look like the old buildings, but it's kind of reminiscent of it, I guess, a little bit. But
like a modern take on old.
It's supposed to be really cool, and so I think Second Avenue is going to turn. I think Broadway is going to become this big old hairy beast that locals do not want to be a part of.
It's already a big old hairy beast. By the
Locals
way, Eddie
do not
Baker,
go
Eddie
it.
Baker on our YouTube channel commented, "Call Garth's bar shameless."
That's pretty good.
Not bad.
But I think we're going to see Second Avenue become, and it's just going to grow on out and
Yeah,
keep
because
moving.
Second Avenue, I know they've had issues because
Yeah.
getting all the way to the end, like you said, if you start at Layla's or you start up kind of by the arena, a lot of people just kind of
People
stop.
aren't making it down a second anymore.
And additionally, they had a problem with lighting, that they don't have as many streetlights.
Mm-hmm.
And so there
It
was
is darker.
that was the thing that they said when you kind of look up at it, you're like, is it safe?
But it's prettier at Christmas to me because I love the way the lighting
lights,
is
yeah,
done.
the-
And I
Yeah.
think that's what prompted them to try to petition for more streetlights because they said it looks darker when you look up Second Avenue.
Well,
And
Second Avenue is on each side had tons of trees.
Yeah.
These trees, and so
Yeah.
that's part of the problem. But
It's not part of the problem. Trees are pretty and they're
yeah,
good
No,
for
but they
but for
do make it
lighting,
dark.
doesn't.
Yeah,
they
it
make
does.
There's trees on
darker.
Broadway, and it
Yeah.
looks. That's why people go. Why did Nashville become the Bachelorette center of the universe? And one of the reasons is because unlike New Orleans or Vegas or other places, Vegas is extremely well lit, but it has its own thing. But I grew up. I went to college. We drive to New Orleans every weekend, and it always felt a little bit,
Dangerous.
a little
not
bit. It was
dangerous,
always dangerous.
but
It was
but
always
def-
sketch.
but way more dangerous feeling than Lower Broad.
Dude.
Same
Yeah.
number. It's all bars, but there's something about it's wide open. And I was gonna say because there's police everywhere in downtown Nashville, but there were police everywhere in the French Quarter.
Dude, there were
for sure.
police on their
Bourbon
horses, and you're
Street,
having to
everywhere.
dodge all the poop on
But-
the ground.
It's not as well lit. It's not. It never felt as safe and comfortable as Lower Broadway in Nashville, because it's just like it's this one big wide open, well lit space. The neon lights probably help
yeah,
because
yeah.
every bar's got a big neon sign.
Yeah.
Then
and
what
that-
they need to do, if you're talking about that whole Second Avenue thing, I can't believe we're having this on the conversation or this conversation on the podcast. But if they're going to do that, they need to add a bunch of lights. They need to make it look like Christmas every day. You know, all the neon and everything has to be there. You light stuff up, you make it bright and inviting. People will go.
Yeah, and that was part of what I saw the plans that was very that way. It was
make it like
real
an
open.
extension of Broadway.
It
where
was
it's just
very
an
open.
L.
But it wasn't like neon-y. But I mean, that could all change. But it just kind of looked like a more mature version of Broadway.
The
It
other
just
problem
wasn't
with
so-
Second Avenue, if you look at a lot of the business fronts, where in Broadway you have the open windows, that you have people that are essentially almost playing on the streets. And Second Avenue, a lot of those venues, you have to really go inside.
Yeah, they were more
And some of
office
them,
building.
yeah, you almost have to go downstairs in some of them.
Some of them you
And
did go downstairs.
yeah, you have to walk in, and so you don't have like people. If you let's say you walk by Kid Rock's bar, you can already see there are a bazillion people in there. You're gonna have a blast because everybody's drinking and partying. You go up some of those bars on Second Avenue, and you can't tell if
I
there's
like the mystery.
anybody
You know why?
in there.
You know why the bands are in the windows? Exactly for that reason. But also because back then people weren't sure if you just had music, because it was a big deal to have music playing in a bar, but it could have been a jukebox, right?
Oh, so they put the
you
band in the
they put
window
the
so
band
you
in the
knew it
window
was
so you knew
live.
it was live music. And it's logistically, it's terrible that the band is in the window because people walk in and then they just stop right there. And so you get this crowd built up toward the front of the bar and people can't get through to get to the back. The band should be in the back of a long, skinny bar because people walk in, walk toward the front, and then when they would leave, they walk back out. You're a fireman. You know what I'm talking about. It's just bad design for feng shui or whatever they call it. Feng shui. But it works. There's something magical about walking down that street, and every bar's got a band sitting there right there at the street playing.
Now it's going to be interesting to see where Nashville is in the next
15 years.
10, 15 years.
It'd be
or
crazy.
so. Are they closing Hume Fogg? Do y'all know?
That
No.
there's a
Wow.
school that looks like a
What?
castle.
I heard that they were.
No way. It looks like its own
No,
little hillbilly Hogwarts.
I wouldn't blame them though because I want to say they complained or might have filed
Oh,
a formal
about the
complaint
noise?
about the
Woo
noise and the
Girls.
Woo Girls. Yeah, the truck transportainment. And some of
you're
the
a s-
places those trucks go,
Yeah, that's not right.
like what are you doing?
That
Like,
should, those
Wait,
things should
what
not.
places?
They don't stay on
mm-mm.
Broadway.
In the tourist
like,
area?
No, Hume Fogg's really close to that. It's a school.
Yeah.
It's,
It's
really
a
close to
high
that.
school, right? It's
But,
like
yeah, but
invitation only. Like you
I've
got to be
s-
super smart.
I've seen them over by City Winery, which is basically the rescue mission. There's
yeah,
nothing
there's
there,
nothing around- that-
and I'm going, what are
it's
you
too
seeing
far,
here?
man. Where are y'all driving around to? But the ones, not the pedal taverns, because they try to stay
Yeah,
full. But
yeah.
even those used to get into Midtown, and
They
that's like a
did.
mile and a half. I'm like, man, y'all really pedaling this thing. Okay.
Yeah, last year they Hume Fogg High School said they'd had enough of party buses disrupting their school day. Students and teachers hoping to see changes that they deal with every day. Now, I guess they're not closing. I guess that was what I'd seen.
Yeah.
I went to I did a speech and debate thing there when I was in high school.
Did you really?
A tournament. Yeah. It's super.
Does it look
creepy
like
inside.
a castle
That's what
inside?
I
Oh,
want to
it's
know all
so
about
creepy.
the inside.
No, it's
I'm
so.
sure they've redone it
I was
since
there
then,
on
but-
like a Saturday, so it's there's no school, and so it's kind of darkish except for where we are, and so the hallways are dark, and it's all very like a castle, like you're inside a castle, and it's just creepy,
Cold
totally,
and clammy.
totally haunted.
And the doors are small.
100%.
By the way, the weirdest thing, like talking about castles, when we were doing Scotland and we did a bunch of different castles, and we were like in the one like Winterfell. We went to that one and everything. The doors literally are this tall. They're as tall as your chin. Like, how short were people back then? You had to
Well-
duck through every single door. Look, when my wife, who was 5'3", had to duck, then that's tiny doors.
These are my people. These are my ancestors.
I
We
told,
short.
I told not to get back to Nashville
Nah, haven't.
all stuff, but we're putting in we're going to get a new theme park.
I saw that.
Maybe.
But I don't know. Where is that? Where are they
I don't know.
planning
It's
to
an
put that?
address TBA
I
or
don't
know
TBD or whatever.
That seemed like that would be expensive if you build it in the middle of nowhere. How are you going to build that in a place where property values are insane?
The guy who's behind who did Fifth and Broadway is the one behind it. So that's why people are like, this is going to happen. It's going to be a thing, man. It's going to be called Storyville.
Storyville.
But if you're going to
Storyville.
open a theme park in Music City, why wouldn't you call it?
Well-
why wouldn't you do Opryland again?
Yeah.
Like why?
And the thing is that the Storyville Gardens is what it's called. StoryvilleGardens.com if you want to check it out. It's not really based on music.
It's nothing about music.
It's about other part or all around the world, and you go and experience. It kind of reminds me.
It's a little Epcot. It's
Yeah.
a little Epcot and a little
What's the thing?
Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, where you go and explore different worlds and
Yeah, that's
foods.
Epcot.
Is that
Is where you go to the different
Countries.
But it's got more rides and things like
Yeah,
that.
there are rides there that they have on the.
I mean, I'm in.
Or at least the
If-
proposal
I will
says it.
so buy a season pass to that.
Yeah.
If there's a decent roller coaster, I'm all about
You
it.
know, I'm deathly afraid of roller coasters.
Oh.
Nah, I don't fit in them.
They're spring of. They're saying coming to Nashville spring 2025.
Yeah, but remember, we were going to have that water park, and we were going to have Dollywood, and we were going to have Opryland again.
We were
and
gonna have an
all
IKEA.
yeah, an IKEA. Yeah, so I don't put any stock into it until I see them start construction, and even then, I'm like, go ahead, finish it. Yeah, 2025 is a long time. That's
Dude.
3 years from now.
Bless you.
We were going to have a walk-ons. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we don't.
We still have the walk-ons yet?
No, we don't have walk-ons. We don't have an IKEA.
There was
going to
be like
mad about that
3,
IKEA.
and then who knows?
Yeah, I want to go to Memphis.
Do you remember
for
they
IKEA.
even got Dolly involved in the thing? There was going to be across the street from, like there was some property like across the street from Opryland Hotel and stuff. Dolly was involved, and they found out it was a big old, like they were getting scammed or something. I don't know.
They were using
Allegedly.
Dolly to scam,
No,
allegedly.
No. Yeah, I think they
So
got
but-
Dolly involved, and then they found out that the other people didn't have the backing or the money or the land. That
Yeah,
they
that's
said
what I'm saying. They
had.
were
Yeah.
using Dolly's name to get other people to give them money.
Something like that. I don't-
Allegedly,
Yeah, I don't
whatever.
know. I don't remember the whole story, but it was a big thing. But
Because
that was
Dolly
years
is a
ago.
doer. I mean, Dolly gets stuff done.
I mean, somebody went to Dolly and said, "Listen, if we buy the land and get the money, you want to do another theme park in Nashville?" And I'm sure she was like, "All right," but
Can we drop the Frist Art Museum to the ground and put a bar in there?
no.
No, I'm just kidding. It's a joke. I've been burned by the Frist several times. Oh, this sounds like a great idea to go to.
Now, I've seen some cool stuff at the Frisk, but you got to know what's there. Like, because their permanent exhibit is not that much. It's
I will tell
usually
you-
the rotating stuff that's either great or kind of.
My favorite museum in all of Nashville is the Lane Auto Museum.
Yeah,
It is quirky cars. And have you ever been? It's quirky cars and crazy little things. I mean, these guys have the coolest collection of like propeller-driven cars
Oh, wow.
and turbines and these weird little one-seat German things. And it's just really cool to go see bizarre stuff like that.
There
and no
is-
one goes to it.
I would say there is something though about Dee saying like, not get rid of the Frisk, but move it. Because I remember a few years ago they had a collection of ancient Roman artifacts and stuff, which I'm so obsessed with that time period. But they had to be careful because of all the construction going on.
Oh no,
was
it got
shaking.
Shut down.
It was right. It's shaking
It was only
the
open
ground.
for a week, and the British Museum was like,
We need,
no, we want our
you're
stuff
wrecking
back.
our stuff.
It's too close to dust. It's too close to because they remember they were building that building across the street in Catacorn, like all those new buildings that are right on the interstate. And so the British Museum was like, send us our Roman stuff back.
Well, yeah. Plus, they're not too far away from all of the Apple stuff, all that stuff that's going.
Yeah,
in.
that
Part
might have
of
been
it.
the construction. Yeah. that was
So
going on at the
honestly,
time.
you're not really wrong in saying not that it should be shut, but perhaps moved
No,
to a
it's
better
gonna
location.
Move it out by
It'll be-
the
it's-
Parthenon.
That's
By
what I
the
was
way,
gonna
if
say,
you
put it
don't
at the
know,
Parthenon.
Nashville has a duplicate to the inch of the actual Parthenon in Greece, except it's better because it's still standing, and they're trying to
It's made of
restore.
concrete. But
No,
okay.
but I'm saying
Yeah.
they're trying to
It's better.
restore. They're trying to restore the actual Parthenon by using castings and things like that from the one here. It's really cool. And if you've ever seen what's the movie, the one where he goes and he fights the Athena and the big snake. No, you. Oh my gosh, I can't think
I
of
don't
the
know
guy's
who
name.
he is. So
No.
You sound like me describing a movie.
you know the one
guy.
with the guy
He wears
Yeah.
who
glasses.
did the thing.
And then he comes in, and the lady is there, and
I
there's
can't
a
think of the name of the movie now.
They
There's
see
a
each other.
moment, and they-
and
yeah.
she and her sister.
Anaconda.
What were you
was-
trying to describe this morning that it did
Oh,
that? I
the
can't
Truman
remember.
Show.
Truman,
Truman Show.
Like, yeah, there's a guy.
There's a guy.
He
and
makes
he's-
faces.
He makes faces.
and
Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the lightning
Wow.
thief.
Okay.
He goes into a battle against the Hydra there, and that's cool.
Okay.
nothing you said was cool. Not one thing. I mean,
I love Percy Jackson,
Oh
man.
my gosh.
I tried to find one cool word in that.
I got made fun of the other day by a
Oh, it
buddy.
was so
he goes,
much fun.
He goes, dude, if you're your age and you say that you love Harry Potter, you need to reassess your life. I'm like, but I do.
Well, while we're on Nashville tourism stuff, let me just say, if you do come to Nashville, or even if you live in Nashville, you should, and you haven't been, you need to go to the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Yes, for
and
sure.
Block out like 2.5, 3 hours. 'cause
Also-
it'll
Also, I do want to say this. Don't wear the goofy little pink cowboy hats.
I'll
Don't
let-
put a
let
sash
people
on.
Wear that
No,
cowboy
because
hats. Let
it's-
them wear their cowboy
No,
hats.
it's people stop
Fine.
and stare. Oh, here we go again, another bachelorette party. If you don't do that, like there was a group of girls that we met the other day at that event. I said, "Are you guys locals?" And they were like, "No." Do we look like locals? I'm like, "Yeah, because you're not wearing sashes and pink cowboy
You're
hats."
wearing sweatshirts.
And they were like, "Oh my gosh, this is the greatest compliment ever." I'm like, "You cracked the code."
Yeah, but if they stop dressing like bachelorette parties, how are we going to play the bachelorette party drinking game?
It's impossible.
Go downtown to Lower Broadway in Nashville on a Friday or Saturday night. Every time you get to 10 bachelorette parties, everyone has to do a shot. And I will tell you, this is a dangerous game because we stopped at 52 one time because everyone was like, you know what, I can't drive.
That's a lot of shots.
That's 5 plus the
get it.
beers, and we got to quit.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is like everybody used to take pictures with the murals, but now it's all shifted to going to the white limousine is like the go-to spot for the bachelorette party photos for Instagram. If you don't know what that is, it's a rooftop of a Dolly Parton themed hotel. And they have like everything is pink and Dolly themed, and it's like the place to go.
And they do Jello shot champagne.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to try that actually.
I don't know that it tasted that great. I'll be honest. But
Of course you know. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, I've never been there. Of course Carson's been there.
You think I don't go anywhere. You just don't.
Again,
You
just
don't
know.
hear about it.
We also think you don't drink because you don't drink in front of us.
every time my wife has friends come into town, that's all they want. They're like, can we go take a picture with that giant dolly head?
Yeah.
And so they go do that. And what is it made out of? It looks like it's made out of Legos.
It's what is like fancy mesh? That if
Legos.
you but if you're trying to put up fencing maybe before you put up a real fence at your house, they have that kind of
orange
temporary
construction.
Chicken wire?
Yeah, it's kind
It's
of
not
chicken
even-
wire, but it's
Really?
meshy. Yeah, they'd obviously painted it pink, whatever it is, but it's a pliable mesh. It's more than just plastic, obviously, but it's whatever they use, they molded it like that, and I swear they just spray painted it pink. Mm-hmm.
Well, this has been fun. If you should come to Nashville. If you have never been to Nashville, come to Nashville.
There you go.
It really is a cool
And then
place.
go to Franklin.
And we did the.
Come
That's
see
what
it.
Dee always tells people.
Yeah. Where should we go? Away from here. Go to Franklin.
Go to Leaper's Fork. There's a distillery there and an old cop car. and you might see Miley.
way better. Way better.
You're wrong.
I had a group of tourists.
Respectfully, you're wrong.
I was doing a flea market, and they're like,
Oh, your stuff is so cute, but like, where can we go where we can buy stuff from like local people?
I was like, I mean, here, but also. So then I'm like, I guess you probably want Draper James.
We want to go where Reese Witherspoon has a store.
Okay, that's 12.
I
and then
love
I
when
was like,
Carson does that voice.
and then I'm like, why don't you guys go over to Dickerson Pike? There's a lot of up and coming.
By the way, that joke is not funny to you if you don't live in Nashville. But if you do, that was a good joke.
It's a good joke. Lots of homemade crafts, arts and crafts
Lots of homeless
from local
made crafts.
from local artisans.
Look what I made out of my poop.
Okay. And we jumped the shark. That was the moment where you did.
Hey, baby, you want a party?
Yes.
You want a date? You want a date?
All right.
Hey,
That's the end.
and then one of the hotels is very famous. It was on Cops.
All right. Thank you. Don't forget, if you've gotten this far into the podcast, please rate and review the
Yes.
podcast. Give us the best stars possible and
That's
a
right.
glowing review. We forget to say it all the time.
Take a minute, write something nice about us, or write something mean. I don't care. Just give us a 5-star review.
Yes, the review is meh,
You
but give
guys
us all the
are
stars
all
possible.
Too fat.
Yes, we are.
Please stop doing this on camera.
Give us a star for every cumulative 100 pounds on this show. And
That's a lot of stars.
thank you. We'll see you next podcast.
This was the podcast, but now it's over. But that's okay. 'Cause you can listen to the regular show on the radio every day. It was the podcast.